All the gods began to adorn their vehicles, and aerial cars of various kinds. Happy and auspicious omens were visible, and celestial damsels sang for joy. Lagi savarana sakala sura bahana bibida bimana. Hohi saguna mangala subhadakarahi apacharagana. The attendants of Shambhu began to adorn their lord. His matted locks were formed into a crown and decked with a crest of serpents. He had serpents for his earrings and bracelets, smeared his person with ashes, and wrapped a lion's skin around his loins. He bore the crescent on his charming brow, and the river Ganga on the crown of his head, and had 3 eyes and a serpent for the sacred thread. His throat was black with the poison swallowed by him at the beginning of creation, and had a wreath of human skulls about his neck. Thus clad in a ghastly attire, he was none the less an embodiment of blessings and merciful to the core. A trident and a damaru, a shell drum shaped like an hourglass, adorned his hands. Shiva rode on a bull while musical instruments played. Female divinities smiled to see him. The world has no bride worthy of the bridegroom, they said to one another. Vishnu, Brahma, and hosts of other gods joined the bridegroom's procession and rode on their respective vehicles. The gathering of the immortals was incomparable in every respect. The procession, however, was hardly worthy of the bridegroom. Shiva hi Shambho Gana Kara hi Simgara Jata Mukuta Ahai Mauru Savara Kumdala Kamkana Pahire Byala Tana Bibhuti Patake Harichala Sasi Lalata Sundara Siraganga Nayana Tini Upabita Bhujanga Garala Kamtas Ura Narasiranmala Asiva Bisha Shivadharma Krupala Kara Trishula Arudamaru Biraja Chale Bisaha Chari Bajahi Baja Dekhi Shiva Hi Suratriya Musukahi Paralayaka Dulahini Jaganahi Vishnu Biramchi Ada Surabrata Chari Chari Bahana Chale Bharata Sura Samaja Sababhati Anupa Nahi Bharata Dullaha Anurupa. God Vishnu then called the guardians of the different quarters and smilingly said, "Every one of you should march separately, each with his own retinue. Vishnu kaha asa bihashi taba boli sakala disiraja bilaja hoi kalahu Sabha nija nija sahita samaja." The procession, brothers, is no way worthy of the bridegroom. You will make yourself a butt of ridicule in a strange city. Hearing the words of Vishnu, the gods smiled and parted, each with his own group. The great Lord Shiva laughed in his sleeves and noticed that Sri Hari's humour had never failed. As soon as he heard these most pleasing remarks of his beloved friend, he sent Bhringi to call all his attendants, and they all came when they heard Shiva's command and bowed their head at the lotus feet of their lord. Shiva laughed to see his host in their motley attire, riding every kind of vehicle. Some were headless, while others were hydra-headed monsters. Some were without hands and feet, while others had numerous hands and feet. Some had numerous eyes, while others had no eyes at all. Some were stout and well built, while others had very slim bodies. Bara anuhari bharatana bhai hashi karai hahu parapura jai Vishnu bacha suni sura musukane Nija nija sena sahita bilagane Manahi mana maheshu musukahi Hari ke bimya bachana nahi jahi Ati priya bachana sunata priya kare Brahmgihi preri sakala gana teri Shiva anusasana sunisabhai Prabhupada jalal jasisatinhanae Nana bahana nana pesha Bihase Shiva samaja nija dekha Ko mukhahina pipula mukha Bino padakara ko bahu pada bahu Vipula Nayana Ko Nayana Bihina Rishta Pushta Ko Atitana Kina. Some had lean and thin bodies, while others were very stout. Some were tidy, while others had dirty habits. They had frightful ornaments, carried skulls in their hands, and were all smeared with fresh blood. They bore heads of donkeys, dogs, swine, and jackals, and the varieties of their clothes could not be counted. The troops of spirits, goblins, and fairies of various kinds beguiled description. Tana kinha ko ati pina pavana ko apavana gati dare. Bhushana kara lakapalan kara sabha sadhya sonita tana bari. Karasvana surara sukha skrala Gana besha aganita kogani Banu jinasa preta bisa kacha jogi jamata Bharanata nahi baine. The ghosts danced and sang. They were all extremely fantastic. They looked most absurd and spoke words in a peculiar style. Na chahi gavahi Gita Parama Taramgi Bhuta Sabha Dekata Ati Pipareta Bolahi Bachana Pichitra Biti. The procession was now quite worthy of the bridegroom. The processionists indulged in gaieties of various kinds. As they went along. On the other side, Himachala erected a most wonderful pavilion which beguiled description. As many mountains as existed in the world, small or big, more than man can count, and the whole host of woods, seas, rivers, and ponds were all invited by Himachala. Footnote on ponds. According to the Hindu scriptures, every natural object is believed to be presided over by a spirit. It is these spirits that are referred to here. Back to the text. Capable of taking any form they liked, they assumed handsome figures and repaired to the house of Himalaya along with their retinues and fair consorts. They all sang festive songs out of affection. The mountain king had already caused a number of houses to be tastefully decorated. All the guests were lodged therein, each occupying a house befitting one's status. The splendor of the city was so captivating that after a glance at it, the creative skill of Brahma himself looked very small. Jasadullahu dhasi bani barata kotuka bibidha hoi magajata iha himachala racheubitana ati bichitra nahi jaibakana Saila sakala jahad lagi jagamahi laju lagu bisalanahi barani sirahi kamarupa sumdara tanadari Sahita Samaja Sahita Baranari Gaye Sakala Tuhina Chala Geha Gavahi Mangala Sahita Saneha Pratamahi Giri Bahugraha Savarai Jata Jogu Hataha Sabachahe Pura Sobha Avaloki Suhai Lagai Lagu Biramchi Nipunai At a glance at the beautiful city made of the creative art of Brahma himself. A glance at the beautiful city made the creative art of Brahma himself pale into significance. Groves and gardens, wells and ponds and rivers all looked charming beyond words. Every house was decorated with a number of triumphal arches, flags, and buntings. Men and women of the city were so lovely and ingenious that they enraptured the hearts even of sages. Lagu laga bidiki nipunata avaloki pura sobhasahi Bana baga kupataraga sarita subhaga sabara sakakokahi Mangala Pipula Torana Pataka Ketu Graha Graha Sohahi Banita Purusha Sundara Chatura Chabideki Muni Mana Mohahi The city in which the Mother of the Universe had bodied herself forth baffled all description. Prosperity and success, wealth and happiness were always on the increase there and presented a new aspect. Jagadamba Jaha Avatari So Puru Bharani Ki Jai Riddhi Siddhi Sampati Sukha Nita Nutana Adhikai. When it was heard that the bridegroom's procession was close at hand, there was commotion in the city, which added to its charm. Adorning themselves and decorating their vehicles of various kinds, a party proceeded in advance to receive the procession with due honor. They were gladdened at heart to see the gathering of the immortals, and they were all more happy to behold Sri Hari Vishnu. But when they started looking at Shiva's retinue, that every animal they rode started back and fled in panic. The adults recovered themselves and remained where they were, while every child that came ran for its life. On their reaching home, when their parents questioned them, they spoke as follows, their limbs still shaking with the fear. What shall we say? The sight was such as should not be described. We wonder whether it was a bridegroom's procession or the army of death. The bridegroom is a maniac riding on a bull. Serpents, skulls, and ashes are his ornaments. Nagara nakata parata sunyai purakara baru sobha adhikai karibana vasaji bahananana chalilena sadara ava Agadvana Hiya Harashe Surasena Nihari Hari Hideki Atibai Sukhari Shiva Samaja Jabadekana Lage Bidhari Chale Bahana Sabha Bhage Dari Diraju Taharahe Sayane Balaka Sabalai Jiva Parane Gai Bhavana Puchahi Pito Mata Kahahi Bachana Baya Kampita Gata Kahya Kaha Kahi Jaina Bata Jamma Karadhara Kidho Bariata Baru Puraha Basaha Asavara Byala Kapala Bibhushana Chara